This episode brought to you by thegiveawaygeek.com. Win board games, electronics, and gift cards at thegiveawaygeek.com. The geek that keeps on giving. Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're bringing you a gameplay of Mansions of Madness. Now this is the new DLC. What Lies Beneath is the title of it. Some of you may be asking, wait a minute, you never finished your last gameplay. Well, the problem with that is I had the app on my iPad and we were playing through it, myself, the guys from Boards Alive, and John Gilmore, playing through it, and then I dropped my iPad and it shattered, but still was functioning for about a week, and then it broke. So unfortunately that game is gone. One of the problems with using an app, I suppose. So I want to do a new gameplay though, and this is going to be, I'm thinking maybe every time they release some DLC, we'll get a gameplay up so you can judge for yourself if it's something that you want to do. And at the end of the gameplay, whenever, probably be about 2 videos for this, I'm going to do a quick little review of the DLC so you can decide for yourself if you think it's worth downloading. One other note, you're going to see in the video that I actually at one point forget that the doctor is stunned. And when I realize it, I think that I've only forgotten one turn that he was stunned, when in fact it had been like 2 or 3 turns ago that he had been stunned. But you'll see that, and I'll correct it as best I can once that happens. So, without anything else, let's get right into the gameplay of Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, What Lies Beneath. Alright, so we'll be playing this game with Vincent Lee, the Doctor, and Dexter Drake, the Magician. Neither of these are from the 2nd Edition base set. I believe both of these are from the Forbidden Alchemy set from the 1st edition. And of course you can get them in one of the expansions that recently came out. I can't remember the name of it. So with Vincent Lee, 8 health, 6 sanity, and as an action, you or another investigator within range flip 1 damage face down or discard 1 face down damage. Going to give him the machete as well, and then as the King James Bible will be his other item that he can use for healing. So he's basically going to be my healer primarily, is what I'm hoping during this game. You or another investigator within range may discard 1 face down horror. And then he's got the Elder Ward, roll 1 additional die while a monster is attacking you. And then Dexter Drake, he's got 6 health, 8 sanity. Once per round when you gain a spell, become focused. And then he's got the Wither spell, which is one of the primary attack spells, and Candles. You may discard this card to convert all investigation symbols to successes while casting a spell. Oh, and I forgot to add these in. Both investigators will be starting with 1 clue token as well.
A friend from the police force interrupts your fitful sleep to ask a favor. A wealthy recluse has been murdered in his Southside home, and the patrolman responsible for investigating returned with the body, the murder weapon, and a mysterious refusal to investigate further until sunrise. You leave for the crime scene immediately. Southside at night is empty. You walk past the dark windows of South Church, Mars boarding house, and the Deming building, until you find the address your friend gave you. Luckily, the deceased recluse and sole occupant of the house has left a key under the mat. You move to unlock the door, but find it already swinging open of its own accord.
Your footsteps clatter loudly on the tile. A chalk outline on the floor is surrounded by blood splatters. A cat sits next to one of the large blood splatters, staring intensely at the ceiling. A key dangles from its collar. One of the cabinet doors is ajar. The hall continues further into the house. An iron silhouette of a book has been hung on this door. This door has a small plaque that reads Ballroom. A loud thud from underneath the house breaks the silence, causing the floor of the house to briefly vibrate. The cat immediately leaps from its position, streaking off into the room to your right. All right, so we've got a mysterious cat, some blood stains. Let's see, you know what? I think We'll have the doctor go check out this blood stain. So that's 1. You look over the site and try to discern information from what remains. Need to test my observation, which is a 4. Okay. Let's start this game off right. We'll use a clue token to change that to a success. Judging by the amount of blood, the victim likely died here in the entry hall. You also notice that the chalk outlines right arm stops at the elbow. Gain the forensic evidence unique item and discard the search token. All right, so the doctor has forensic evidence, proof of the victim's identification. And let's see, the doctor could move 1 more space, but you know what? Let's check this out real quick because we can do that just by being in that space. Actually, we could do it just by being in the entry hall. A large rug is spread over the wooden floor. Discard the site token and place hallway 2. The library is filled with row after row of shelved books. A bright, cheerful reading lamp is in the corner. Let's see, so we have the library placed there, and then the books come whirling, one after another toward your head. Suffer 3 face-down damage. Agility negates. Dexter Drake has 3 agility. Let's see what happens. Whew, okay, so he takes 2 face-down damage. All right. It's a pretty rough start right off the bat for Dexter. The shelves are now almost completely empty of books. Perhaps you can figure out what happened. On top of the mountain of fallen books is one that looks useful. That's the medical textbook, common item, which, as an action, you or another investigator within range may discard 1 face-down damage. So actually, I think Dexter might be picking that up here in a minute. Though most of the library has been sufficiently upset, the reading area seems to have survived relatively unscathed. An old scroll there catches your eye. Place the shriveling spell, and that's actually a little bit of an upgrade from the wither spell in terms of base damage. So we'll see. I might go over there and pick that up as well. There is a door on the far side of the room. The cat grooms itself by one of the library's shelves. Didn't seem too upset by what just happened. Some of the furniture in the lounge could be used to barricade the door. And then I can move 1 space in. Now I've used, so 1 action was to explore. My next action could be to check this out or to pick up the medical textbook or to move, but I'm not going to move, I don't think. I've got 2 out of 4 damage. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the medical textbook. And that will be his turn. The limited furniture in the ballroom has been placed against the wall. Discard this Explore token. Got that. In the center of the room, strange runes have been painted on the floor and a small altar has been constructed. That doesn't sound good. Every so often, the tablecloth on one of the tables moves, though there is no breeze or draft. The hilt of a dagger can only just be seen beneath the piano. That's the ritual dagger, common item. Has 1 base damage, it's a bladed weapon, and roll 1 additional die while casting a spell. There's a door on the far side of the room. The furniture in the ballroom could be stacked against the doors should the need arise. And then I can move 1 space in, which I will. And that's his turn. So now let's go over to Dexter. I guess he might as well investigate the bookshelf, since he did just get hit in the face with all those books. The shelf is now almost empty, as we said before. You examine the shelves for a trick mechanism that would cause the books to fly. You cannot find a mundane explanation, but you do notice a thin volume left on the shelf. It is a short, handwritten description of a creature with an amorphous form covered in eyes. It's twice we've seen that guy now. Gain 1 clue. So he's got 2 clues now. And he's got 1 action left, so we'll move here. And maybe we can pet the cat next time. And that's the end of the investigator phase. So let's move into the mythos phase. Light flickers, and for an instant, shadows that were cast by nothing on this earth stalk the wall. No immediate effect. Wow, that was an easy mythos phase. Back to the investigator phase. You know what? Let's go ahead and do Dexter Drake again, because I want to see what's going on with this cat. The cat grooms itself by one of the library's shelves. A silver key hangs from its collar. Every so often, the cat's hair stands on end, and it hisses a warning. I can befriend the cat or catch the cat. Let's try befriending the cat. You attempt to approach the cat without alarming it, holding a hand out for it to sniff. That's going to be influence, which I have 4 influence. Oh, jeez. All right. The cat seems to begrudgingly accept your presence. All right. But eventually it grows disinterested in your attention and wanders off. Well, not the best. Doors seem to creak open at the cat's approach. That's weird. And swing shut behind it. Remove the cat from the board. Okay. Got a magic cat. Now the question is, do I use an action to pick up Shriveling, knowing that it's a little bit more powerful than Wither? Or do I explore? I feel like Dexter Drake's not moving fast enough, but I am going to go ahead and pick up Shriveling. And then we'll try to pick up the pace a little bit. So he has both Shriveling and Wither at his disposal now. I probably should have healed myself, but that's his turn. Maybe we'll heal next time. So moving on to Vincent Lee. Okay. First things first, right here in the middle of the room, we've got those strange symbols. I feel like he ought to go ahead and check that out. So he's going to check this spot right here. You try to make sense of the setup by interpreting the symbology. Tap to attempt a puzzle using lore. His lore is 3, not terrible, but not great either. Okay, so back to Vincent Lee. He'll pick up the shovel and then move one. And then I think I can see, let's see, the site token says the yard continues up the side of the house. An investigator in the garden may reveal. So, yep, let's reveal that. The side yard has a private sitting area just off the house. An old shotgun has been left on a bench near the fire pit. Good place to leave a shotgun. Hey, all right, so yeah, the shotgun, firearm, 6 base damage. You cannot attack a monster that is more than 1 space away with this card, though. So instead of the 3 range, you have 1 range with the shotgun. But that might be worth it, so we'll try to work our way over to that. Another door leads back into the house. The greenery wraps around the house into the backyard. All right, and to use that site token, I'd have to be in the yard 2 room there. So we won't worry about that at the moment. Now, let's see. Vincent needs to make a decision. Is he going to spend time coming down here? Because that's going to double pretty much the time it takes to get up there. It's something. This is something that's in the rose bushes glinting in the moonlight. I'm going to leave that and move here. And then the beginning of his next turn, he can investigate that and then move on to the shotgun. So that we're going to ignore this one down here. That's really, I want you to know, it's really difficult for me to do that. But this game, sometimes you have to leave stuff behind in the interest of moving, making progress. All right, so speaking of making progress, Dexter Drake over here is going to move here. And he's going to attempt to catch the cat again, or to befriend the cat. So, like I said before, it is his influence, which he has 4 influence. All right, let's change that with one of his clue tokens. So that puts Dexter Drake down to 1 clue token. But that's going to be 2 successes. The cat finally allows you to pet it. And while scratching it just below the chin, you take the opportunity to slip the key from the collar's ring for a closer look. We get this silver key unique item. So here you go. You can see silver key. Yog Sothoth is the gate. Yog Sothoth is the key and the guardian of the gate. Not Sothoth. Sothoth. Whatever. I can't pronounce all these names. The point is we have the silver key. The cat moves from under your hands and runs off through the house. With the key secured, you let it go in peace. So that was 1 movement and and then a second action. I'm not gonna worry about the lucky cigarette case because I've got the candles for spells, and he's gonna become focused pretty much every time he casts a spell. So we will instead move. Do I want to go to the coat room? What is that again? That says one of the boxes is beginning to split open from age. And then instead over here, it's a large portrait of the victim. The coat room's just too good to ignore. I'm going to head over to the coat room. All right, and that's the end of the investigator phase. The front door of the mansion creaks open and a robed figure slips inside. I have come as you commanded. The figure calls out to the presence in the house. I will stop the meddlers. We have a cultist spawning in the entry hall. The balmy air of summer turns suddenly into a chill so cold you can see your breath. The sound of static fills the air and an old man's voice filters over it. You are not welcome here. Each investigator suffers 1 face down horror, but will negates. Okay, so Vincent Lee has 4 will. Oh, you know what, y'all? That last time, Vincent Lee was stunned. So he really should only have been able to pick up that shovel. Can't go back, so what we'll do is this time we'll use stunned. He'll only do 1 action this time. You know, and I will put that next to him. That's easier for me to remember. So, sorry about that. Anyway, Vincent Lee is going to take 1 face down horror because of that voice. And then Dexter Drake has a will of 3. And he's good. Plenty to go around. All right, so no horror for Dexter Drake. The strange giggling in the mansion stops. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So this search token is getting discarded now. And then the cultist moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator, which, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3. Yeah, definitely. Okay. And then no hard checks. Moving back into the investigator phase. Let's do Vincent Lee first. He's going to investigate this. 2 stones have been placed among the flowers. Looking them over, you see 2 names listed along with a set of dates. The rocks seem to be some sort of memorial or marker for the deceased parents. Gain 1 clue. So Vincent Lee's at 2 clues. And that's everything he can do. So we will get rid of stunned now and move on to Dexter Drake's turn. What is he going to do? Now, I think with the cultist here, I mean, cultists aren't that bad. Dexter Drake does have spells, but I also don't want to give the cultist first shot at me. So I'm going to forget about the coat room. I'm going to move here and investigate that, which is a large portrait. The framed pictures, and then there's pictures underneath the portrait. The framed pictures document rare moments in the deceased's life, from boyhood to adulthood. You notice the deceased is missing his right arm below the elbow, just like this chalk outline over here. But something else seems strange about the photos. I need my observation, which is a 3 for Dexter. 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, so let's see how that goes. Oh yeah, this one up here, y'all. Sorry about that. Whoa, okay, it worked. You realize 2 things at once. First, that the deceased has been missing his right arm below the elbow since he was a toddler. And second, that his parents become conspicuously absent by his teenage years. By then, he appears to be wearing an amulet, the same amulet his mother wears in the photos from his childhood. The painted portrait of him in his older years also has an amulet rendered in loving detail. The amulet depicts a multitude of eyes. A raised detail in the shape of a star has been added to the amulet in later photos. Gain the photographic evidence, unique item. Okay, so here we go. Photographic evidence. The proof can be seen clear as day. So between the 2 of them, we have 3 pieces of evidence now. All right, so he's moved once. He investigated that clue token there, or whatever, that he investigated that spot. And he's going to move one more time out this way. If I can get to a point where I don't have to backtrack, but at the same time I can get a shot off on that cultist, then I'll do that. But let's see, going into the mythos phase now. The light at the end of the hall blinks out, then the next, then the next. Place darkness in each space of the entry hall and hallway 2. Fantastic. Something stirs in the darkness at the far end of the hall. The shadows coalesce into the figure of a young man, missing his right arm below the elbow. Cultist moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator, so let's see which way is closer. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2. And still no horror check. All right. Ending the mythos phase. Man, this is turning into a pretty big map here. The lawn behind the mansion is surprisingly overgrown. A high stone wall shuts out the rest of South Side, and in the middle of the lawn is a tool shed. The root cellar doors are boarded over to excess. Hundreds of nails have been driven into the sturdy planks of the wood. Something has been dropped in the grass. Place the holy water common item. Got that. Holy water, by the way, It's equipment, and as an action, discard one horror and become focused. Then discard the card. It looks as if something is written on the wall that closes in the estate's grounds. The door to the shed has a rusting lock looped through it. Another door leads back into the house. So I've noticed that we've got 3 things trying to get us into that room. So I probably need to deal with that here in a second. I think maybe, well, we'll see. Right now, though, I definitely want to get this shotgun. So he's moved once, and then he's going to move his second time, and then use an action to pick up the shotgun. So that's it for Vincent Lee this turn. Now, Dexter Drake, let's see, he's going to... I've got to go deal with that kid that just showed up, right? So let's go up there, even though I'm in darkness, which is not ideal. Oh, but you know what? Dexter Drake's not in darkness. He has the candles, which are a light source, so darkness does not affect him right now. So 1 movement, and then let's go see what that boy has to say. The young man appears to be chanting something. His mouth makes the same shapes over and over again. An amulet hangs around his neck, and he is missing his right arm below the elbow. All right, so I have the option. I can say, excuse me. I can listen to the ghost, or I can attack the ghost. Let's see. You know what? Dexter Drake he's gonna listen to him. You approach the specter quietly until you can make out the words he keeps repeating. Get out now, is what he says. And I gain 1 clue token, so Dexter Drake is at 2 clues. The ghost of the young man appears to realize you are listening. His chanting raises to a crescendo. The furniture up and down the hall begins to shake. Then all at once, his eyes roll back in his head and he disappears. The shaking stops and the lights turn back on. So whatever was happening in the hallway there has resolved itself. The ghost has disappeared. The lights have come back on. Now here's the thing. I have 1 movement left. But I can't go, it takes an action to go here and here. If I come back here, then he's going to get me, but he's going to get me either way because he's been moving 2 spaces every turn. I think what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to let Dexter Drake plan on going this way, and we'll let Vincent Lee maybe loop around here and come in there. And that's the end of that Mythos phase, moving back to the investigator phase. And that's a good place to stop. We are going to come back next time and see just what a stunned Dexter Drake can do to defend himself against this cultist. And meanwhile, the doctor is wandering around outside, and hopefully he's going to link back up with Dexter at some point. Kind of looks like their paths may be converging. The doctor, really, the only place he can really go, but besides exploring the stuff outside, I guess the root cellar is a possibility. And you know, we'll see. Maybe they're going to link back up. Either way, I'm kind of glad that Dexter's the one who is facing a bad guy right now, because the doctor is less equipped, even though he does have that shotgun now, so that's good. But I still put more faith in Dexter's arcane abilities with his spells. So come back next time and see the continuation of what lies beneath. So far, I've been having a pretty good time with this, which I gotta say, I'm surprised we only had one monster so far. I think we're like 40 minutes in or so, only one monster. That's kind of an interesting direction for the game. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please subscribe to my channel if you like it, and find me on Twitter @boredoffline. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.